On their 7th anniversary, Marcus once again postponed the wedding date. I need to go on a work trip for a week. He left in a hurry, not even bothering to glance at me. Going with him was the new secretary his company assigned him. He took her to the overlook to watch the stars, to the wishing fountain to make wishes, and kissed her intimately at a concert. His friends advised him, "You should keep a low profile. Aren't you afraid Grace will find out?" Marcus shrugged it off. "What's there to be afraid of? It's just a fleeting affair. She won't take it seriously." Later, he pleaded with me, eyes red with regret. I smiled. "Let's be real, we broke up a while ago, didn't we?" Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you are listening from. I have a work dinner tonight, so I won't be able to come home for dinner. We'll try on your wedding dress another day. I had been busy in the kitchen all afternoon. When's message arrived, I had already set the carefully prepared dishes on the table, waiting for him to come home and eat. Ever since Marcus moved to Viridian, he had become increasingly busy, and we hadn't had a proper meal together in a long time. Today was our 7th anniversary, and also the day we had agreed to try on wedding dresses together. He broke his promise again. I calmly ate dinner and drove to the bridal boutique. "Ms. Grace, the wedding dress Mr. Marcus custom made just arrived today. Would you like to try it on now?" The manager expertly approached, carefully bringing over the wedding dress Marcus had paid a hefty sum for. When I came out after changing into the wedding dress, a chorus of admiring gasps filled the air. I stood still in front of the fitting mirror, staring at myself in a daze for quite some time. The custom-made Italian designer wedding dress used top luxury brands for its fabric and lace, not to mention the premium Swarovski crystals and pearls embedded in it. From the initial order to the first fitting, the wedding dress took nearly half a year to create. I looked at myself in the mirror, fair-skinned, slender, with faint fine lines at the corners of my eyes, and a weariness that clung like a heavy cloud. I took a few photos in the mirror, about to send them to Marcus for his opinion. Marcus, however, sent several photos and a short video first. It was a video of him and Chloe embracing and drinking intimately, arms linked. Amidst the cheers of those around them, the two, fueled by alcohol, passionately kissed, and cheers and whistles erupted. In the video, the kiss was intense and prolonged. Marcus's Adam's apple bobbed, and his hand had impatiently slid below Chloe's waist. Chloe's face was flushed, her eyes moist, and her whole body was soft in his arms, letting out shallow gasps. The cheers around them grew louder. Marcus seemed to have lit a fuse, his breathing deepened, and he swept Chloe up into his arms. To the cheers and whistles of the crowd, he left the private room without looking back. The video ended there. Immediately following was the second photo. On the messy bed in the hotel, Marcus was sleeping soundly, bare-chested. The angle was suggestive, taken from a bedside perspective. The third photo showed a woman's hand, slender and fair. On her ring finger was a dazzling diamond ring, and her fingers were intertwined with a man's in a car, clearly Marcus's car. The ring wasn't my engagement ring, but the diamond on it was much larger than mine. I instinctively saved all the videos and photos. Less than 2 minutes later, the sender unsent the videos and photos, as if nothing had happened. I stared at my phone screen until it automatically dimmed. In the mirror, I, dressed in a pristine wedding dress, looked like a cruel joke. 7 years of love, over 2,500 days and nights of companionship, reduced to just a few photos and a video. My heart felt as if an invisible hand was squeezing it, aching so much I couldn't breathe. But not a single tear would fall. I calmly walked back to the fitting room. The manager followed me in, her face beaming. "Ms. Grace, you look absolutely stunning. It's practically custom made for you." Without a word, I began to unfasten the intricate lacing at the back. The expensive wedding dress slid off me, pooling on the floor like a discarded, cold cloud. I changed back into my own clothes and walked up to her. "Please dispose of this wedding dress for me." The manager looked troubled. "Ms. Grace, but Mr. Marcus specifically custom made this for you." I said, "Dispose of it." I looked at her. "The sooner, the better. Name your price, just make sure I never see it again." I didn't spare her another glance, walking straight out of the bridal boutique. I started the car and drove back to the house we had shared for 5 years. On the kitchen table, the carefully prepared meal I had made for him sat, now cold. I walked over without hesitation and dumped everything, including the plates, into the trash. After that, I went to the master bedroom and pulled out my largest suitcase. Opening the closet, I only took things that belonged to me. I didn't touch any of the bags or jewelry Marcus had given me. They were tainted, just like the future he had promised. I didn't want them anymore. I dragged the packed suitcase directly into the adjacent guest room. Then I closed and locked the door. After a quick wash, I lay fully clothed on the guest room bed, forcing my eyes shut. I don't know how much time passed, but then I heard the sound of a car engine shutting off downstairs. Immediately after, there was the soft click of a key in the lock. Marcus was back. His footsteps were light, betraying a guilty conscience, as he headed straight for the master bedroom. A few minutes later, he came out again, his steps somewhat hesitant. My phone vibrated by the pillow, the screen lit up, showing husband as the caller ID. I turned over, my back to the door, and silence. My phone. I slept surprisingly deeply. When I woke up the next morning, sunlight was already streaming through the blinds, casting strips of light and shadow on the floor. I walked out of the guest room, and the air was filled with the aroma of coffee and fried eggs. Marcus, wearing the cartoon apron I had bought him, was busy in the kitchen. Hearing me, he turned around, a hint of a placating smile on his face. Awake? I made your favorite soft-boiled egg. He seemed convinced I knew nothing. I ignored him and walked straight to the dining table to pour some water. His phone was casually tossed on the table, its screen still on. My hand, holding the water glass, paused almost imperceptibly. Marcus brought out breakfast and placed it in front of me, his voice so gentle it was as if nothing had happened. Eat quickly before it gets cold. He turned back to the kitchen to get milk. I put down my water glass and, as if possessed, reached out and picked up his phone. Just as I was about to tap the screen, the kitchen door creaked open. Marcus came out with 2 glasses of warm milk. Seeing me holding his phone, he paused. I casually placed the phone screen down on the table and met his gaze. Just checking the time. My tone was calm and even, devoid of any emotion. The wariness in his eyes relaxed, replaced by his usual gentle expression. Have breakfast first. I'm off today, so I'll spend the whole day with you. Didn't you like that runway handbag before? It dawned on me that for the past 6 months, whenever he couldn't be with me, he would find ways to buy me expensive luxury items, various bags, and jewelry. It was so obvious, yet I hadn't noticed. I said nothing, picked up a spoon, and sliced the perfectly presented soft-boiled egg in half. The golden yolk slowly oozed out, like an ugly scar. I ate it expressionlessly, swallowing it along with his disingenuous attempts to appease me. I tasted nothing. After the meal, Marcus assiduously cleared the dishes. Aldi. Oh, the dishes. You go change, and we'll go try on wedding dresses. The sound of water came from the kitchen. Now was the time. I picked up his phone, my fingertips tapping the screen. The unlocked password was still the anniversary of the year we fell in love. How ironic. The WhatsApp interface popped up, with the group chat pinned at the top. The group was lively. Alex, Marcus, you must have had a blast last night, huh? I saved the video. Noah, that girl's Chloe? She's hot, way more exciting than the one at home. Only sent a message, Marcus, that's enough. Ms. Grace has been with you for so many years, and the wedding date is set. Marcus's reply was just a few minutes ago. You're always making a big deal out of nothing. It's just a fling, why take it so seriously? Besides, all women are the same, just sweet talk them a bit. My fingers curled one by one, my nails almost digging into my palm. Just then, a new chat bubble appeared. The contact name was Chloe. Marcus, you were so naughty last night. Now I can't wear low-cut tops today. Following the message was a photo. The photo was artfully taken, with suggestive lighting, the camera focused on a patch of pale collarbone, covered in dents, varying hickey marks. My hand, clutching the phone, trembled uncontrollably. My stomach churned, the soft-boiled egg I'd eaten that morning was screaming to come back up. I forced down the nausea and swiped up the screen, wanting to see what else they had talked about. It was blank. Apart from that latest message, the screen was completely clean. He had deleted everything so thoroughly. I suppressed the surging hatred in my chest, my fingertips calmly operating on the cold screen. Screenshot saved. I long pressed the disgusting message and selected Mark as unread. I carefully placed the phone back in its original position, screen down, at the exact same angle as before. In truth, Marcus had been acting strangely for 6 months already. He started working overtime frequency. Usually, his phone was always face down, and occasionally he would carry the unfamiliar perfume scent. It wasn't that I hadn't noticed. I was simply deceiving myself, betting that his years of affection for me would make him pull back from the brink. Now it seemed I had lost, utterly and completely. The sound of water from the kitchen stopped. Marcus walked out, wiping his hands, his gaze first falling on his phone, then turning to me. He picked up the phone, his fingertips tracing the edge of the screen, and spoke as if casually. Did you just look at my phone? His voice held a hint of barely concealed nervousness. Why would I look at your phone? I tilted my head and gently retorted. What, is there something in your phone I'm not allowed to see? The tension on his face instantly relaxed, and he let out a sigh of relief, immediately replacing it with his familiar doting smile. Don't be silly, honey. I was just worried you were bored. He walked over and ruffled my hair. Go change quickly. The people at the bridal boutique must be getting impatient. I nodded, said nothing more, and turned back to the master bedroom. 15 minutes later, I changed and met him at the entryway. Just as he reached to open the door, his phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID, and his expression shifted almost imperceptibly. He turned his back to me, lowered his voice, and answered. Hello? Now? Okay, I understand. I'll be right there. Hanging up the phone, he turned around, his face full of apologies. Honey, I'm so sorry. The company just called an emergency meeting, and I have to go. He embraced me, his voice so gentle it could melt butter. Be good, darling. Go try it on by yourself first. I'll come find you as soon as the meeting is over, okay? I pushed him away and nodded. Okay. Marcus's figure disappeared behind the door, and the metal lock clicked faintly but definitively shut. The meekness and compliance on my face peeled away inch by inch, leaving only cold numbness. I turned, dragging the already packed suitcase from the guest room. I called the local express delivery service. The address is. Yes, one suitcase, urgent, must be picked up within an hour. Hanging up, my finger scrolled through my contacts until I found that familiar number. The phone rang only once before it was answered. Hello, sweetie? It was my dad. The moment I heard his voice, I nearly broke down, but I quickly suppressed the bitterness. I sniffled, trying to make my voice sound as normal as possible. Dad, I'm coming home tonight. There was a pause on the other end, as if he was surprised. What's wrong? Did you argue with Marcus? No. I leaned against the cold wall, looking at the gray sky outside the window. I just miss you and Mom. Okay, it's good you're coming home. I'll have your mom make your favorite comforting chicken soup. Hum. I hung up, and the delivery person arrived. I sent the last item belonging to me out of the house, and as I looked at the empty entryway, a piece of my heart felt hollow too. My phone rang at that inopportune moment. It was an unfamiliar number. I swiped to answer. Hello, is this Ms. Grace? I'm a consultant from the Vera Wang Bridal Boutique. My brow twitched. The person's voice carried a professional apology. It's about the wedding dress Stardust you reserved. A lady came in today and absolutely loved it, wanting to buy it on the spot, even offering to pay extra. So, we were wondering. I hadn't expected someone to be interested in the wedding dress after just one night. I'll be right there. I drove straight to the bridal boutique. I walked directly to the VIP fitting mirror in the innermost part of the store. A woman in a pristine wedding dress stood there, her back to me. The unique Stardust had its skirt hem adorned with tiny diamonds, sparkling dazzlingly under the lights, breathtakingly beautiful. A man was kneeling before her, gently arranging her skirt. He looked up, his face dispel, eyeing that utterly familiar, doting to the bone smile. It was Marcus. Chloe, you look beautiful in this. His emergency meeting was actually spent accompanying his Chloe to try on wedding dresses. My wedding dress. In the mirror, Chloe's smile brightened even further the moment she saw me. Marcus followed her gaze, turning around. The smile on his face froze, his lips parted, but not a single word came out. I smiled and walked over step by step, stopping in front of him. My gaze swept past Marcus's panicked face, finally settling on Chloe. My wedding dress, does it fit you well? Marcus released Chloe's skirt and lunged towards me, trying to grab my hand. Baby, let me explain. Things aren't what you think. His voice was urgent. I stepped aside, letting his hand hang awkwardly in the air. My gaze moved past him, falling back on Chloe. She was still wearing my wedding dress, standing in front of the mirror, an undisguised smug smile playing on her lips. I walked over, circling her as if admiring a piece of art. Not bad, it is quite beautiful. The size is perfect too, as if it were custom made just for you. I stopped in front of her, looking directly at her reflection in the mirror. Since you like it so much, I'll let you have this wedding dress. Chloe's suppressed delight almost spilled over, yet she still waved her hand disingenuously, putting on the act of a startled bunny. Sister, please don't be like that. I was just trying it on. She cast a shy glance at Marcus, her voice neither too loud nor too soft, just clear enough for me and the nearby sales assistant to hear. It just so happens I'm planning to get married and wanted to look at styles in advance. I didn't expect such a coincidence. Oh? Getting married? I nodded, took my phone out of my bag, and unhurriedly opened my Venmo QR code. Perfect then. I held the phone screen out to her, my smile impeccable. Just transfer the wedding dress money directly to me. For Stardust, including the deposit, the full price is 1.18 million. Chloe's smile froze, and she even stopped breathing for a beat. Marcus, who I had been ignoring, finally had his face turn from pale to ashen. He grabbed my wrist, his grip so strong it felt like he wanted to crush my bones. Grace! He called me by my full name, his voice filled with uncontrollable rage. He gritted his teeth, asking word by word, "What exactly do you mean by this?" A dull ache radiated from my wrist, and Marcus's knuckles whitened from the force. I lifted my eyes, my gaze calmly moving from his hand gripping mine to his face, contorted with anger. I curled my lips in a sarcastic smile. What do I mean? Marcus, shouldn't I be asking you that question? I flung his hand away, and he stumbled back half a step. The rage in his eyes was instantly replaced by panic and fear. Grace, calm down. Let's go home and talk. I'll explain everything. Home? I let out a soft laugh, though no amusement reached my eyes. Is that even my home anymore? His face was deathly pale, his lips moving, but not a single word came out. The lies he used to conjure so effortlessly were, at this moment, finally stuck in his throat. I couldn't be bothered to look at his ridiculous face anymore. I don't need this wedding dress, nor our wedding, anymore. I wish you both a beautiful and long life together. Oh, and don't forget to transfer the wedding dress money to me. Not wanting to stay another second, I turned and left. Grace! Marcus tried to follow. Chloe's cry stopped him. Marcus, don't go after her. Her voice was tearful, full of grievance. Sister must be furious. You should let her cool down. Ow! A short gasp. My foot. I think I twisted my ankle, it hurts so much. Marcus stopped, hesitating for a moment. Honey, you go home first. I'll be back later. A cold, sharp curve appeared on my lips as I pushed open the heavy glass door. The sunlight outside the door stung my eyes. I drove directly to the airport. I okayed the next available flight back to my parents' house on my phone. The waiting lounge was bustling with noise, but I heard nothing. On my phone screen were dozens of missed calls from Marcus and a barrage of WhatsApp messages. Expressionlessly, I dragged his number into the blacklist. I had spent 7 years of my youth loving a man like this. In the end, all I got was betrayal. My eyes felt dry and painful. A single hot tear finally slid down my cheek, landing on the back of my hand. For the foolish me who had once been so devoted to him. The plane landed, and the familiar humid air rushed over me. I hadn't given them advance notice, but when I opened the door, both my parents were home. Their surprise lasted only a second, immediately replaced by overwhelming heartbreak in their eyes. There were no questions, no inquiries, not even a single mention of Marcus. My mom silently took my suitcase, turned and went into the kitchen, and soon the familiar aroma of pork rib soup wafted out. My dad patted the sofa beside me. Grace, you must be tired. Sit down for a bit. We just sat there, the TV on, neither of us speaking. But I knew they understood everything. This home was my eternal haven. I slept for 2 days, completely oblivious to time, at home. On the afternoon of the third day, an unfamiliar number called. I stared at the screen. My mom glanced at me, seemed about to say something, but ultimately sighed and walked away. I pressed answer. There was silence for a few seconds on the other end, then Marcus's deliberately lowered voice came through. Grace, you're home? I didn't respond. He seemed to be getting agitated. I had to go on a work trip this week. Something urgent came up with the project, and I left in a hurry. I came home and didn't see you, and your things are also. He paused, his voice softening, with a hint of barely perceptible vulnerability. Don't be dramatic, Grace. When I get back, I'll definitely explain everything to you. I almost laughed out loud. Marcus, which bed were you on when you told me you were going on a work trip? On the other end of the line, there was a deathly silence. I could imagine his expression at that moment. It must have been priceless. Grace, you. I didn't give him a chance to continue. I wish you a pleasant work trip. With that, I hung up and blacklisted him again. On evening, my childhood friend sent me several screenshots. Grace, stay strong. This B*TCH is absolutely disgusting. I opened the images. It was Chloe's Instagram. She had set her posts to be visible only to followers for the past 6 months. but my childhood friend had already followed her specifically to insult her. The latest post was geotagged in the Maldives. The accompanying photos were a 9-picture collage. There were beaches, sunsets, and rose petals arranged in a heart shape. The central picture was a selfie of her in a bikini, and a corner of a men's bathrobe was visible behind her. The style, I remembered, was the brand Marcus liked to wear most. The caption read, "Work is too tiring, luckily someone brought me out to relax. It feels so good to be cherished." Heart emoji. The post time was 3 days ago. I scrolled up. A few days prior, which was the day Marcus called me, Chloe had posted a photo of tickets, 2 first-class tickets, with the destination clearly visible. The caption, "Spontaneous trip, starting our romantic getaway further back, a week ago." She had posted a close-up photo of her hand, with a massive diamond ring on her ring finger, against the backdrop of the bridal boutique's logo. "Thank you, honey, for giving me a perfect dream." I looked at them one by one, my fingertips cold. So this was his so-called work trip. This was the explanation he was preparing for me. He wasn't giving me time to cool down. He was using our planned honeymoon vacation to take another woman and prematurely enjoy everything that should have been mine. I stared at Chloe's happy and boastful face on the phone screen. The dry well in my heart finally showed a crack. What surged out wasn't tears. It was an overwhelming, bone-chilling hatred. I turned off my phone and tossed it aside. I took a deep breath and opened my laptop. "Marcus, Chloe, don't you two love to show off? Don't you think everything is under control? Then I'll show you what it means to reap what you sow." I calmly pulled up the 2-minute video and saved it. Then I put the screenshot of the hickey marks Marcus sent to Chloe in the same folder. Finally, Chloe's boastful Instagram screenshots. The evidence was all neatly organized. I opened the wedding guest list spreadsheet. The family, the Lin family, friends from both sides, business partners, 327 names in total, densely listed. Enough audience makes the show more spectacular. I created a new WhatsApp group. I typed out the group name, letter by letter, Mr. and Mrs. Marcus's long and happy blessing. Then, one by one, I added all 327 people. After doing all this, I leaned back in the chair and let out a long breath, as if expelling 7 years of my youth, along with all that foolish love. I opened the text I had already drafted, copied it, and pasted it. "Hello everyone, I'm Grace. It is with regret that I inform you all that the wedding between Mr. Marcus and myself, originally scheduled for next month, has been officially cancelled. The reason is simple. I've decided to let him be with Ms. Chloe. Their love runs deep, and they've already eagerly flown to the Maldives for an early honeymoon, using what was supposed to be our planned honeymoon. All monetary gifts and good wishes previously received will be fully refunded by my assistant within a week. Thank you for your kindness. Finally, I extend my most sincere congratulations to the happy couple, wishing them a joyful new marriage and that they have a beautiful family soon." The message was sent. I paused for a second, then had everything from that folder, the video, the screenshots, all at once into the group chat. After doing all that, without the slightest hesitation, I directly clicked exit group chat and then switched my phone to airplane mode. "Marcus, enjoy your sunny beaches. This is my first wedding gift to you." I slept soundly, completely lost to time. I woke up again, startled by the dazzling sunlight outside the window. I picked up my phone and glanced at it. The airplane mode icon sat quietly at the top of the screen. I took a deep breath and turned off airplane mode. My phone buzzed loudly, as if about to explode in my palm. Countless WhatsApp messages, missed calls, texts, poured in instantly. The screen flickered on and off, for a full minute before finally settling. The $9.99 plus red notification badge, dense and alarming. The first call came in just then. It was my best friend, Sarah. Her suppressed, excited scream immediately came through the phone. "Grace, you're alive. You're a goddess. Do you know? That group chat blew up. Absolutely blew up. After you left the group, it turned into a drama of the year. Marcus's dad tried to smooth things over, claiming there was a misunderstanding, but my mom immediately shut him down with a screenshot. When you dropped that video, the whole place went silent. I secretly peeked, and Marcus's mom's face was green with rage. Now it's all over the social circles that the eldest son of the Shin family got the other woman pregnant before his wedding, and even stripped the wedding dress off his fiancée to give to her." I listened quietly, a faint, almost imperceptible smile playing on my lips. "Well done," I said. Sarah chuckled on the other end. "Of course. By the way, how are you doing? Do you need me to come over and keep you company?" "No, I'm fine. After hanging up, an unfamiliar number relentlessly called again. Through the receiver came a series of hurried breaths, followed by a woman's sharp, acrimonious voice. Grace, UB*TCH. What do you think you're doing? It was Marcus's mother, Mrs. Margaret. I held the phone slightly away. Mrs. Margaret, you should ask your wonderful son what he thinks he's doing. You've completely embarrassed our Shin family. How could you be so vicious, posting something like that in the group? She was furious, completely devoid of her usual ladylike elegance. I let out a soft laugh. Compared to me, I think it's Marcus and Chloe, enjoying their romantic getaway in the Maldives, who are causing you more embarrassment, wouldn't you agree? Mrs. Margaret choked for a moment, then raised her voice again. Men just have a fleeting affair. Do you have to be so extreme? How are we, the Shin family, supposed to hold our heads up now? A fleeting affair? Then I wish them a play that turns into true love, and a beautiful and long life together. I hung up the phone directly. Looking at the constant barrage of notifications still popping up on my phone, I felt annoyed. I pulled out the SIM card, snipped it in half with pliers, and threw it into the trash. Barefoot, I walked to the floor-to-ceiling window in the living room. Outside, my parents' meticulously cared-for garden was bathed in perfect sunlight. Everything was warm and peaceful. It felt like two different worlds compared to everything I had just gone through. Soft footsteps sounded behind me. Dad brought a cup of warm milk and handed it to me. Grace. Dad, I said softly, I'm sorry to have embarrassed you both. There was a brief silence behind me. Then, his warm, dry hand gently rested on my head. Silly girl, don't say such nonsense. A daughter of the Lin family is never embarrassed. You did the right thing. I'm proud of you. In that instant, the ice that had held for days suddenly cracked. My eyes welled up uncontrollably. I turned, looked at my father, whose temples were already touched with gray, and managed a smile that was uglier than a cry. Dad, I need your help. Dad's gaze immediately sharpened. Tell me. Help me contact Robert. Uncle was my dad's old friend and one of the top business lawyers in the industry. Dad's eyes darkened, as if he had already guessed something. Have you thought this through? Yes, I nodded, my gaze firm. I've never been clearer. Good. I support you, Grace. A daughter of our Lin family is not to be bullied. He dialed the phone, briefly explained the situation, then handed the phone to me. Uncle. Robert's steady voice came from the other end. Grace, don't be afraid. Uncle is here for you. That single phrase, don't be afraid, brought a catch to my voice. Uncle, I want to sue Marcus and divide the assets. Grace, you and Marcus signed a prenuptial agreement. According to the agreement, the villa in Westridge and a 3% stake in Shin were premarital gifts from him to you. As long as the wedding isn't held, legally, he can revoke those gifts at any time. I knew that, of course. Marcus and Mrs. Margaret had long had their calculations neatly figured out. They thought I was just a love-struck fool who couldn't live without love. Unfortunately, they miscalculated. Uncle, I have proof that he had an inappropriate relationship with a third party before the marriage, and that he transferred the wedding dress originally intended for me to this third party. This wedding dress is worth nearly $1 million. Legally, does that count as malicious transfer of premarital gift assets? There was silence on the other end of the line. After a full 10 seconds, Robert's voice finally sounded again, carrying a hint of imperceptible approval. Yes, it does. Grace, you've grown up. Send all the evidence to me via encrypted email. I'll handle the rest. Okay. After hanging up, I felt the last bit of my strength drain away. Dad silently patted my shoulder, offering his support. I walked to the full-length mirror. The woman in the mirror had a pale face, disheveled hair, and deep dark circles under her eyes. But those eyes shone with astonishing brightness. I bundled all the evidence, the video, chat logs, transfer receipts, Instagram screenshots, encrypted it, and sent it to Robert's email. The sound of the email being successfully sent was like the final bell ringing for this absurd farce. That afternoon, a suppressed argument drifted from the living room downstairs. I recognized my father's deeply angered voice, and another, unfamiliar and slick. Slipping on my slippers, I quietly made my way to the top of the stairs on the second floor. Mr. Grace's father, our Mr. Marcus, is also very sincere. After all, Grace and Marcus have been together for so many years. No one wanted things to turn out like this. It was Marcus's lawyer. My dad scoffed. Sincerity? Sending a lawyer to negotiate is your idea of sincerity? Well, it's also about resolving the issue more effectively, isn't it? Our Marcus is willing to offer $30 million as compensation for Ms. Grace's emotional distress, and he hopes to put an end to this matter here. The living room fell into a deathly silence. Then came my father's furious roar. Get out! I slowly walked down the stairs. The lawyer saw me, his face creasing into a professionally false smile. My dad immediately stepped in front of me, like a provoked lion. Grace, go back to your room. I shook my head, walked around him, and approached the lawyer. 30 million? I repeated softly, the end of my voice rising slightly, as if asking an utterly ridiculous question. The lawyer clearly hadn't expected me to be so calm. He paused for a moment before saying, yes, Ms. Grace. Mr. Marcus hopes for an amicable separation. I smiled. Go back and tell Marcus. I want the villa in Westridge and a 3% stake in the Shin, not a single percentage point less. This is a gift he personally signed in the prenuptial agreement. The lawyer's expression shifted. Ms. Grace, the wedding hasn't taken place, Mr. Marcus has the right to revoke. I cut him off. I also have the right to sue him for infidelity and malicious transfer of premarital gifted assets. I took a step forward, looking directly into his eyes. That starry piece, it's worth 1.18 million. The videos of Chloe wearing it are all over the internet. Do you think the judge will believe your revocation of gift, or my malicious transfer? A bead of cold sweat trickled down the lawyer's temple. He opened his mouth but couldn't utter a single word. And, I paused, tell him to keep that 30 million. He can buy some decent formula for his child. After all, a child born to the other woman, their reputation wouldn't be great. The lawyer fled in disarray. Silence returned to the living room. Just as I was about to breathe a sigh of relief, the old spare phone in my pocket suddenly vibrated. My incredibly resourceful best friend sent me a message on her secondary account. Just a screenshot and one sentence. Grace, keep it together. The screenshot was Chloe's social media post. The background was a living room I knew all too well. It was the Italian imported sofa I had personally chosen, the floating TV wall I had personally designed. It was the villa in Westridge, our chosen wedding home, the same villa Marcus had agreed to in the agreement. Chloe was wearing Marcus's white shirt, barefoot, curled up on the sofa, smiling sweetly. The caption read, New home, new beginnings. The geotagging was precisely the villa's address. A sarcastic smile still played on my lips. My dad snatched the phone, took one look, and started shaking with rage. His eyes immediately welled up. This is outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. He stood up abruptly, as if to dash out and confront someone. I held him back. Dad, don't get angry. She's actually helping us. What great evidence. I took back the phone, bundled that eyesore of a screenshot along with the geotagging information, encrypted it, and sent it to Robert. Along with a note, add it. Ional evidence, malicious appropriation of premarital gifted property. After doing all this, I looked up at my dad and smiled. Dad, we're going to win this fight. Marcus's phone call came 3 days later. It was from an unfamiliar number. I answered. There was a long silence on the other end. I could only hear his heavy, suppressed breathing. Grace. His voice was extremely hoarse, filled with deep weariness and regret. I was wrong. We've had so many years together. Please give me another chance, okay? I didn't speak, just listened quietly. Listening to the belated repentance from the man I had loved for 7 years, only after I had utterly destroyed him. I'll take care of the child Chloe is carrying. The villa, the shares, they're all yours. I don't want anything, I just want you. Grace, come back, let's start over. His voice was choked with tears, sounding genuinely remorseful, but all I felt was disgust. Marcus, where are you now? A glimmer of hope seemed to ignite in him, and he immediately replied. I'm outside our house in Westridge. No, your house. Grace, I've been waiting for you here for 3 days. I want to see you. I smiled. Really? Then go ahead and open the door. Isn't your Chloe waiting inside for you, wearing your white shirt, barefoot? Didn't she say it was her new home, her new beginnings? A deathly silence fell on the other end of the line. Do you regret it? I asked. You don't regret cheating, you don't regret hurting me. You regret that things blew up, you regret the Shin family stock plunged, you regret losing the villa in Westridge and a 3% stake. Marcus, you don't love me, you only love yourself. I didn't give him a chance to explain. Stop calling me. Our next meeting will be in court. Robert's actions were swift. It only took a month from collecting evidence to the court's verdict. During this time, Marcus constantly sought opportunities to meet me, but I refused them all, hiding at home. Me for a whole month. With help, I won without a hitch. The villa in Westridge and a 3% stake in the Shin were all mine. Marcus became the laughingstock of the entire upper-class circle. The stock price of Shin plummeted further and further due to the scandal, reportedly having lost billions in value. And the money he used to compensate me was far more than the initial value in the agreement. My best friend sent me a screenshot of a financial news article. The headline read, Shin heirs premarital escalates, May inheritance. It was truly satisfying. As for Chloe, she was the one who lost the most. My best friend said Marcus blamed her for everything. He called her a manipulative woman who deliberately got pregnant to trap him, destroying his entire life. That original phrase, new home, new beginnings, became a bloody joke. She was kicked out by the Shin family and driven out of the villa in Westridge. She went to find Marcus, heavily pregnant, but couldn't even get to see him. The 30 million promised for her child became all for nothing. A month later, I drove past the villa in Westridge. A for sign was already displayed there. I rolled down the car window. The early autumn breeze on my face felt pleasant. At the villa's entrance, I saw Chloe in a heated confrontation with a middle-aged woman. It was Marcus's mother. She pointed at Chloe's nose, screaming at the top of her lungs. You curse! You wretched woman, you ruined my son. Chloe's face was pale, she clutched her stomach, crying and trying to defend herself. She looked utterly humiliated. I emotionlessly rolled up the window and drove away. In the rearview mirror, the drama grew smaller and smaller until it disappeared from sight. My phone rang, it was Robert. Grace, the villa and the shares have all been transferred to your name. Congratulations. I looked at the brilliant sunshine ahead, smiling with a sense of relief. Thank you, Uncle. Come over for dinner sometime. New home. New beginnings. Thank you for listening to today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.